Big beer. Big, boozy beer. Barrel-aged stuff and things. But this time, with a Canadian twist. Let's do this, guys. Beer, 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 beer. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to me, Maple for another Brewski review. And today, the beer I have for you guys is by the lovely brewery of Omnipollo. They are out of, I always forget where. If they're from Norway or Sweden or something. Sweden, Stockholm, Sweden. There we go. Boom, we got it. But today, the beer that we have from them is called Agamemnon. Extra strong beer, Imperial Stout, brewed with maple syrup and vanilla beans. 11.5% alcohol by volume. Boom. There's the can. Weird genie lamp thing. On the back you have the name and some information. So that's pretty cool. All black can. I do love how they have the black caps for the tops. Those are just badass looking. I kind of want it. They're painted. They're painted black, and I kind of want my beers in the future to have the black tops because they look amazing. So yeah, let's crack this bad boy open. Let's see what we got. Very excited. I've had their other stout, Prodrominus or something along those lines. They always have funky names. And that was amazing. That tasted like an alcoholic Twix bar. This, I'm a little worried. Maple syrup, sometimes maple can be a little too overpowering, but we're gonna find out right now. Exchange, fat tulip style glass. There's a little bit of just residual, residual dish soap. There's the word on the outside of the glass, not on the end. The end's always clean. We're gonna pour it up just a little bit. One, because there's a hockey game going on, and two, this is a big, slow sipper, so I don't want to chug it all back, but looking at it, not too much head on that pour, but absolutely jet black. Oh my lord. In the light, you do get a bit of light shining through, but barely anything. But jet black in appearance, not too much head on that pour, but just pour a little bit more. Not really getting a lot, doesn't seem to be super carbonated. Let's have a smell. You get the maple syrup, that's for damn sure. Comes out really strong. Kind of what I was afraid of, but so far it doesn't seem off-putting. Seems very true maple syrup aromas. Not sometimes where maybe it gets a little too candied or a little too artificial smelling. But right now, like fresh pancakes with chocolate, like a ton of chocolate. The aroma of coffee in the room, and then just sweet, delicious Canadian blood maple syrup. That smells amazing. And there is a bit of a booziness in the back on the nose, but absolutely fantastic. Just gonna swish it around a little bit. Bring out some more aromas, and the maple syrup, definitely. But you do get a bit of a booze. Almost like a little bit alcoholic, like hand sanitizer alcohol when you do swish it around a bit. And yeah, it's kind of there. Not really the kind of alcohol aroma I'm looking for, but maybe on the sip we shall see how it turns out. That is, ooh, that's not bad. That is like maple syrup and chocolate and a little bit of coffee going on in there. The booziness isn't really there on that first sip. Again, we'll need to take more sips to see what's actually going on here. But so far, that one sip, maple syrup hits you in the face. Tastes like breakfast. Tastes like breakfast with pancakes and just maple syrup and chocolate and coffee. Oh my god, I think they've done it. I think they've put a solid Canadian breakfast into a beer. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's have another sip with that said. Cheers, everybody. Let's keep on drinking. Yeah. Canadian breakfast. I'm thinking pancakes because of the maple syrup, but it is like more, it's not really biscuity. But yeah, like a Canadian breakfast. Biscuity or pancake backbone, in my opinion, it's pancakes, but to each their own. Maple syrup coming out strong. Almost overpowering in a sense, but not at the same time. You do get a bit of a chocolatiness going on in the background as well. Like somebody drizzled chocolate over the pancakes. Coffee, not really there, but maple syrup is definitely in your face. On the body, it's lightly carbonated. Like it's almost non-existent carbonation in here. As you can see, there was no real head. Even on the beer itself, there's not too much going on. Some bigger bubbles, but it's definitely flatter of a beer. One of the more flat beers I've ever had, which kind of intrigues me. But at the same time, like I'm not too sure if something happened. Maybe it's supposed to be more carbonated. I'll have to check actually with my friend Jordan, but because he had it before I did, he said it was amazing. But I'm not too sure. Overall, though, so far so good. And it's not super thick either. It doesn't have a large, heavy presence like stouts, and especially Imperial stouts at this stature usually do, which I can get behind. But it's weird how it's not even like it's not that carbonated, which is kind of throwing me off a little bit. It's very syrupy in that aspect, but a very free-flowing kind of syrup. So something to note indeed. So we got Omnipollo Agamemnon, 11.5% alcohol by volume, unknown IBUs, nothing on Untapped either. Extra strong beer, Imperial Stout, brewed with maple syrup and vanilla beans. Ingredients are water, barley, oats, hops, maple syrup, vanilla beans. Very easy to figure it out. Brewed and canned for Omnipollo in Toronto, Ontario, represented by Craft Brand Company, Toronto, Ontario. See production date on bottom. So on the bottom, it was canned on November 22nd, 2019, and it says "Make a Wish" on the bottom. Also on the top of the can, in very small letters, it says, "You are happy to serve me. You are happy to serve me." Thanks, can, for telling me how definitely I feel. I am very happy to serve you because this is serving myself. There is a bit of an alcohol bite in the background, like right on the finish sip, right in this area here. It's a little unpleasant, not my most favorite thing, but overall, pretty damn good. My biggest, I guess, flaw that I find in this beer is the lack thereof of carbonation. It's very just nothing. No carbonation really. It's kind of, it's making me feel a little weird because it is somewhat syrupy, but it's not as thick or heavy as other stouts, so that, I don't know, it's an interesting thing. I don't know why it's not as carbonated really at all. So something to note. On the website, omnipollo.com, you go to the beer section and you gotta kind of search for this one. Sadly, I don't have the 2019 edition can on the website. I couldn't find it, but I found another edition. Still, Agamemnon has the same artwork as this can here, but slightly different specs. We're going to start off with the ingredients. Invited to brew in the US, I wanted to use local ingredients. Agamemnon is an imperial stout brewed with maple syrup, boiled 7 hours. From Hanok, or whoever that gentleman or lady is. Pretty cool. But seems like it started out being brewed in the USA, and it looks like this is the US version because it says brewed at Two Roads Brewing Company and Pub Dog Brewing in the USA. Artwork by Carl Grandin. But yeah, this, I could not find the Canadian variation of this beer, the one brewed here in Toronto. Kind of a bummer, because the American version is 12.5, not 11.5, so they get that little bit of extra alcohol in there. But it seems to be a very similar beer, just higher alcohol. It doesn't say on our Canadian version how long it was boiled, but 7-hour boil, that's a hell of a long boil. Damn. Other than that, it just flips through different pictures of the beer from the can and the bottle. I don't think it goes to the glass, if I'm not mistaken, but goes to the beer in a glass. But hey, nothing too crazy. Very simplistic. White background, black lettering, 2 pictures. simple, easy peasy. Wish there was a bit more information on the beers themselves, maybe like IBUs, the malts and hops, or food pairings, something like that, or something interesting. Sadly, nothing going on, but a very clean looking website nonetheless. On Untapped, Agamemnon 2019, which also seems to be showing the ABV of the American version, not the Canadian version. Again, 12.5 for the American, 11.5 for us Canadians here. But it's been given a 4.23 bottle caps out of 5, and that's out of just 68 ratings. So even though it hasn't been rated a lot, it's been rated extremely high. It's a slow sipper. It's a big slow sipper for sure. Again, no carbonation. Bummer. But hey, maybe it's just my can. Maybe it's the beer itself. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have another one to compare it to. But finally, moving over to the LCBO, if you do want to pick up a can of this Agamemnon, it took me a while to figure out how to actually pronounce the can. I thought it was Armageddon. It's Agamemnon. It's hard to read sometimes. At your local LCBO, though, you're going to be paying $5.95 for this 473 ml Tallboy can. That does seem pretty steep. Just under $6 for a regular Tallboy can is, yeah, it's a steep price. But then again, you're getting an 11.5% alcohol by volume beer. And a beer that has a lot of ingredients that, up that price. So, is it worth it? I would say, yeah, it is in my opinion, just because of the fact that it's a thing. It's a pancake breakfast with booze in it. Or just, yeah, it's really good. I'm really enjoying this thing. The lack of carbonation, though, is definitely its Achilles heel in my opinion, though, which is definitely going to affect some marks. But hey, overall, so damn good. With that said, guys, choosing the final sip, let's get ready to range and wrap this thing up. Agamemnon by Omnipollo, brewed here in Canada. Fan-freaking-tastic. Amazing flavors. The maple syrup is on point, not overbearing, but definitely is the star of the show. Very clean and true to taste maple syrup. It doesn't come across as artificial or fake or anything like that. It is true Canadian maple syrup flavored. Flavor because, well, there's maple syrup in here, so it just goes to make sure to make can't talk. Makes sense that it's very true flavored. Lack of carbonation, though, is throwing me off, especially at how light it is for this style, a beer of this stature. Definitely throwing me off a little bit, but not too bad. Agamemnon, just because of the lack of carbonation, definitely going to knock it down a solid point, so 9 out of 10 for me. As for presentation, I do love the black painted tops here, but hey, that can't be all the where all the points go. Really interesting can designs as well. Omnipollo seems to be known for that. The name is kind of in a weird spot for me with all the other information, but not the end of the world. You do get ingredients. You do get a small little description of the beer, Imperial Stout, brewed with maple syrup and vanilla beans. Short, sweet. And on the bottom, it clearly labeled canned on date, which is absolutely awesome. For the website, even though it looks kind of bland, it does look clean and crisp. The information on here, I wish it was maybe updated or had a separate page for the Canadian version. If they did, that'd be pretty cool. But other than that, you don't really have too much of a description about the beer. You have a little one here, brewed maple syrup. The most information, or the most interesting information, is that it says boiled for 7 hours, which is pretty damn cool. But other than that, lists the ABV, where it was brewed, and for the US, but still no information on the Canadian version. Overall presentation, it's lacking a lot of information, but it does have the canned on date, which is definitely the thing I do look for 100%. Gets a solid 7.5 out of 10 for me. Before I leave you guys, if you have any comments, questions, or beers you want to review in the future, you can leave all that information down in the comment box below. If you want to go ahead and like this video or subscribe to me, Mate Brewski, it would be greatly appreciated as well. And with all that said, that's going to do it for me, Mate Brewski. Like I always say, crack a beer and enjoy. Cheers. Big boozy beers Pouring dark into the glass is a pretty sight. This is a lot of beer for 11.5. The end is near. Cheers. Wow, there's some head there. Does it get more carbonated? Slightly, but not by much.